Alright, so we're about to start section 10 of the Pinhoti, and we think this is the trailhead, even though it's not marked, but according to the guidebook, it starts right past the bridge on the right, and this looks like right past the ridge on the right. And I walked up a little ways and didn't see anything else, so this is the way we're heading. So sure enough, here it is. That was the trail. You just have to go through a whole bunch of blackberry bushes to get down here. Great fun. Got caught in the chest by one, but so we're shooting for Laurel shelter, and then we're gonna play it by ear from there, just see where we get. We started out a little later than we planned, but hey, gotta play it by ear, and here's, that's how it goes. So I'm ready to head out and update you in a little bit. Now I know you can barely see it, but right there, that is it's kind of like a light blue on the top and purple underneath mushroom. Well, the light's doing something weird, but looks like what you see, coming out of like the Smokies when you get the max patch sort of. All of a sudden we came up a hill and then it's just an open meadow. And you can't really see the kids because they're out there in the sunlight, but there is a post with a blue blaze on it that just lets you know which way to go. So I think we're getting close to the lake. I'm not sure how far we've gone yet. I have a GPS tracking map, but I'm not really watching it. The trail's pretty straightforward, so I may check it just to see how far we've gone. But so far, trail's been pretty good. There's needs maintenance. There's a lot of sections through here where the trail's overgrown, and one section there wasn't anywhere to turn off, but all of a sudden all you see is just kind of a trail, and just it looks like you're on a game trail all of a sudden. And so we just kept walking, trying to figure out what's going on, and then next thing we know, there you are, and you pop out and there's a blue blaze on a tree and one of the old Pinhoti turkey foot markers. So all right, so we made it to Laurel shelter. It's about a solid 5 miles in. The next shelter is Chacalaco, and it's 10 miles past here. So as you can see, it's good size. I think there's 10 pack pegs inside. There's a backpack rack over there on the right hand side. You see there's steps up into the shelter, which is nice. Someone stacked some nice dry firewood under the shelter for us. Picnic table, as you can see, we're taking advantage of. There's no bear cables out here, but I do believe that there is the possibility of bears, so I may probably just going to string up, maybe do the 2-tree method. You see down here there's a little fire ring. I'm assuming it's a little small single tent spot or two down there. Trail goes off this way over here, and there is a creek running down this way. Flows decent, not really moving too fast, which I would prefer if I'm going to pull water from, but yeah, that's why you got the filter, so make do with what we got. So there you go. So here's the water source right here by the shelter. Fair amount of water you ford just over there. A little stuff in my throat this morning. It looks like there's almost maybe a pool over here through the brush that you could maybe sit in and relax if you were out here just enjoying yourself. Temperature dropped into the, mid to low or mid to high 60s last night. So a little made for good sleeping once the temperature got down. Trying to decide if we're going to go on to the Shoal Creek Church just to check it out. This actually is Labor Day, and they do all the people that are related to congregation members that used to go to that church will show up on Labor Day, and they sing and have a potluck. But we may just head back to the car. The kids were complaining about sore feet by the time we got here, so yesterday, and then, of course, being kids, they're wandering around having a good old time. I'm like, no, if you're going to be running around and not sitting when you can sit, I don't want to hear about, feet hurting later on. So we may just head back. That'll get us back to the car. Once we take everything down, we'd be back to the car by noon. And yes, as you can see, we did set up in the shelter. We were pretty sure nobody else was coming out here, so figured it's easier just to throw them up. Don't need flies on them or anything, even though that probably wasn't going to rain. Had a nice little bonfire going last night. I got to get some water from down here and make sure everything's out. It looked out this morning, but sure enough, the wind picked up a little bit and it started smoking some, so I've got to get some water on that. And I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna try and filter here. It's not moving a lot over here where I was showing you. But there's supposedly another crossing about half mile up, and I'm wondering if maybe that one flows a little better. So I may walk up that half mile and just check it out, see if the water's moving a little better up there to filter, although that'll make whatever, half mile of 4 liters won't be terrible, but I may have to make that trip a couple times. So we'll just see. I may just filter down here. So, all right. So just a little view of what the trail is like right now. We're walking along the lake here. Just had to cross a couple blowdowns back there. Curious who actually maintains through here. If we lived a little closer, it might be a good idea to come out here and help out. Get someone who's knocked down. But it looks like, I think they did a prescribed burn through here last year, so if you can see down there, well, with the shadows you can't really tell. But up here on this pine and all through we're walking, there's all kinds of burnt trees that are down or trees that are still up that are scarred. So, like I said, I'm pretty sure they do prescribed burns through here, but it seems like I remember there might have been a forest fire out this way in the last couple of years. There is a high fire risk right now. Like I said, we did have a small fire last night in the fire pit. We're coming up now on I can see the parking lot for the lake over there. So, all right. Just traipse along here. Something else I've noticed that's different from the AT out here is that the water, you're walking along, I believe it's the Chacalaco Creek, or different feeds off the lakes up here. So fairly decent amounts of water around. We have had some rain, at least over by where we live. So I mean, we're east, about 2 hours east of where we live. So, but it looks like either the lakes provide a good amount of water, or the springs up here seem to stay flowing pretty well. So just kind of meandering along here. Got a nice breeze going. It's probably not the best time of day to be walking just from the heat, but we didn't get out of the shelter till probably 9:30 or 10. But we weren't in a rush. We didn't think the kids were going to be able to push further ahead and then come back, because that would end up going from a 5-mile walk to a 10-mile walk if we just went up the next 2.5 to the next lake, and there's a beach where you can swim and stuff up there. So we decided not to go that way and just head back. There's a little kind of swimming hole when we get back to the Glen Creek campground, or Pine Glen, whatever that's called back here. There's a little pool you can swim in, so we're gonna get back, see what time it is. If it's early, then we'll get a little water time in and eat a snack, and then eat some lunch. If it's closer to lunch, then we'll eat some lunch and get in the water a little bit and then head out. So, all right, well, we made it back. Car's still here. Apparently you can achieve minor celebrity status on the Pinhoti as well. As soon as we were walking off the trail, came across the bridge and we're coming into the campground, a bunch of people were yelling at us, and some lady ran up and started asking us how far we were going and how long we had been out, and if we had slept in the woods and all this type of stuff. So we kind of told her what we had done, and she said apparently she's getting ready, her and someone else are going to go out and do some backpacking. So she asked for some tips and some advice. So we talked to her for a little bit, and then when we were about halfway back to the car, we had another couple that was 2 sites down from where we parked. We just saw them last night, and they were kind of doing some stuff, and then they jumped in their car and they left right about the time we were getting ready to hike out. So, but they stopped us and asked if we would like some water, so they gave us 2 gallons of water that they had brought. So that was some nice little trail magic, because we had actually just used up all our water, which I had a little bit in the car still, but all the water we had carried we were out of, and I hadn't filtered anything this time, because I was kind of thinking we would probably be able to make it back without me filtering, and that would just, you know, have everybody carrying less weight back this morning. So we are eating, and then we are going to, we may go down to the little wading hole over here by the opening to the campground, and enjoy the water a little bit, just cool off a little bit before we head out, and then head back to the house. Alright, so we decided we'd get our feet wet a little bit, so we ended up doing 10 miles, so we did 5 miles out, 5 miles back to the shelter. So next time we may go from the other end and then kind of come back towards that same shelter. May stay there this night if we can make. It's about a 10 mile, no, I guess it's really 11.1 to that point, so let's play it by ear. But 5 miles down on the Alabama part of the Pinhoti in section 10.